Let's talk about 10 booster boxes you should be picking up during the dip. Now, not everything, particularly sealed product, has gone down in price. There's plenty of sealed product that's still ticking along slowly up in price. We're not seeing the massive increases we've seen. We're not seeing 2 times, 3 times pricing straight out of the gate, other than, of course, 30th anniversary, which is going absolutely gangbusters. But the rest of the sealed product, it seems to have either remained dormant, going up slowly, or in some cases, a lot of it has actually dipped. So here's 10 booster boxes that I think you should pick up during the dip. The great thing about buying during the dip is the only reason things dip is supply demand. That's all it can be. Either extra supply comes onto the market and it drops the price, or in this case right here, it's demand. People have stepped away from the hobby for a little bit. There's plenty of reasons for this. There's other things that they can make fast money out of. You know, the sneaker bros, as everyone calls them, the quick flippers. You know, there's other TCGs that seem to be more profitable at the moment than flipping Pokemon cards, because we've had 3 somewhat lackluster sets in Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and Pitch Black. You know, they're not sets that you can buy out of the gate and resell for 2-3 times recommended retail price. So those people are at the hobby. Everyone else maybe is gearing up more for 30th anniversary. So what happens is, you know, the money dries up a little bit on some extra products. So with all that in mind, there's plenty of reasons we can talk about why there's a dip. Let's get into the first product that I think is a good buy, and that is Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals booster box was nudging on $650 US. It's dropped down to $546 US. So it's dropped down about $100 US. And one of the great things about buying sets at the dip, it's because the demand, like I mentioned before, has gone away from them. And if the demand has gone away from them, it means the demand has either exited altogether or the demand is focusing on something else. And that was my example with the 30th anniversary. The demand is really focusing on that. And if the demand is focusing on that, the attention moves away from the sets that have dipped. And sometimes the best buying opportunities come from being able to buy something where people's attention isn't focused on. It is, in my opinion, one of the best examples to make quick profits or good investment decisions long-term in the TCG. So Destined Rivals, it's dropped nearly $100 US a booster box. Now, everyone told me I was wrong about this, because that's what, funnily enough, it's quite often what happens on this channel. Everyone tells you when you're wrong, not so much when you're right, but I said all along, Destined Rivals will shoot out of the gate really quickly. It'll get to a certain price and it'll stay there for a while. And it'll stay there for a while because they didn't do quite a good enough job on this set. Now, I'm not ragging the set, and I never have ragged on the set. I actually think it's quite a good investment, and I actually quite like the set. I just think they could have done way, way better. I think they missed a lot of tricks. If we were truly going down the nostalgia path, you could have done so many more things. Light and Dark Pokemon. Where's Gyarados? Where's Dragonite? Where's so many good Pokemon that could have had SIRs or IRs? And again, not bagging out the set. I still think it's quite good. Like, in my opinion, it's an A- set. But this was the reason I was saying all along, it'll shoot up in price really quickly because of demand, and then it'll level out. Because there's not quite good enough chase cards inside it to keep pushing it forward and forward like something like Evolving Skies. So what inevitably would happen is this, exactly what's happening right now. It'll get to a certain point, the market then goes, hold on, this is not sustainable growth anymore, let's cool our jets a little bit. And we see a retraction in price, and that's exactly what has happened. But I still think it's a good buy, and the reason I think it's a good buy is because that nostalgia bug will continue to drive this set into the future. The fact is also, again, I'm not saying it's a bad set. All I'm saying is they've missed a few tricks. I actually think it's quite a good set. In fact, it's the best booster box we saw throughout Scarlet and Violet era. So the best booster box of an era always performs well. This will perform well long term. Buying at the dip now makes it a good purchase, in my opinion. The second one I wanted to talk about is the Paldea Evolved booster box. Now look, this hasn't dipped much, which is almost a good sign in some respects, because It's holding around that $500 mark. In fact, it's dipped below 500 US dollars. So I think it's a good pickup. I think there's a lot of things going for this set that make it a good long-term investment. The main one, of course, being that beautiful Shinji Kanda Magikarp. The other one being that this set is stacked with illustration rares. There's so many nice illustration rares, and all of them have very, very tough gem rates. None of them are easy to grade a PSA 10. So what happens when you have a tough gem rate? You have a bigger multiplier effect. Like, that's a no-brainer if you've been in the TCG or know anything about grading cards. If you have a 90% gem rate, there's not going to be much difference between a raw price and a PSA 10 price. Whereas if you have a 5% gem rate, there's going to be a massive difference between a raw price and the PSA 10 price, because the PSA 10 is so much rarer. And that's what happens with a lot of these cards. Now, these aren't down as low as a 5%, but a lot of them are hovering around, 16, 18, 20. Some of these IRs are even lower, like 12, 13% gem rate. So very, very tough gem rates. And that has that gambling effect. The whole idea behind opening a pack is you're gambling trying to pull a chase card. And then on top of that, you're hoping you pull a chase card good enough that it grades a PSA 10. That's the extra layer of gambling. And Paldea Evolved has that. There's going to be some very expensive PSA 10 cards inside this set. Look how expensive they are. Even though they're not over expensive raw, Sleeping Raichu, Tyranitar, not super expensive raw, but nudging on $1,000 US dollars, nudging on over 500 US dollars in PSA 10s, and then look at that Magikarp. That Magikarp is so expensive in a PSA 10 and deserves to be, because its gem rate is so tough. So I think it's a great pickup now that it's dropped below 500 US dollars. By the way, all these images that I'm showing you, they're straight off the Collector app. It is the sponsor of today's video. As you can see, it shows so much data. I'm just looking at the last 3 months here across these booster boxes to show you what's happened to them. But if you're a pro user, you can go way back in time and see so much data. There's set analytics, there's trade information, there's total portfolio information. You can follow my journey down in the content creators section. Collector is the one-stop shop for all your collecting and investing needs. So again, they are today's video sponsor, and there will be a link in the description to download that app if you don't have it. Third one on my list is Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance is an interesting one because in the US, pricing hasn't changed much, but down here in Australia, it's a phenomenal pickup. It's an odd one because we don't often see this down in Australia, but just to talk you through pricings, it has dropped from 418 US dollars to 415 US dollars. Now that doesn't reflect down here because it's like a 340 US dollar booster box down in Australia. Oddly enough, they found some additional product at Pokemon Center. I don't know how that happened, whether it was just leftover pallets, that's probably the case. But needless to say, there was a fair few stores and individuals that picked up additional Astral Radiance cases. And there you go. Like there's more booster boxes freshly on the market. And that, of course, we talked about supply demand at the start of this video, that extra supply has dropped the price of it. So when are you going to be able to buy a Sword and Shield alternate art / trainer gallery set for like 470 Australian dollars? That's the price they're going. That's like 340 US. Unbelievable buying at that sort of price. I think it's an awesome pickup. I've bought a few more of them. I think I'm up to something like 8 or 9 Astral Radiance booster boxes in my collection now. Look, it's not the best Sword and Shield set, but it's better than people give it credit for. And the trainer gallery is actually quite strong. The top 2 chase cards inside the trainer gallery are really good. And, a couple of nice alternate arts, not super expensive, but nice. Beedrill, Machamp, like good enough to drive this set's price up long term. Number 4 on my list is Fusion Strike. So again, we're going back to Sword and Shield. This is once again dropped below $1,000 US dollars. And this is what happens. I've talked about this on the channel multiple times when it comes to booster boxes. They're not linear. They're just not. They don't just continually go up at the same price. What happens is they'll come out of the gate, they'll say I recommend a retail price until all the supply moves onto the secondary market. So once it comes from primary market, that is brick and mortars, online stores, Pokemon Center, once it all sells and it's in the hands of the secondary market, that's when you'll see 2 to 3 times recommended retail price. Hence what you're seeing with 30th anniversary sealed products already. It's already moved to the secondary market. There is no supply left on the primary market. Everything is sold out rapidly. But then over time, it just takes an absorption of the supply and more time in the market for those products to start going up. And you start seeing this weird sort of staircase effect where For some reason, it'll take a jump. Maybe it's an increase in singles prices, change in community sentiment towards the singles or the sealed product, and then it'll level out for a while, and then it'll take another jump, then it'll level out for a while. And it's like, what pushes it through its next breakthrough? It's really just time in the market, because time in the market means more sealed products get opened. And that's where I think Fusion Strike's at right now. It's hovering around, it's almost undecided. It's like, oh, can I break through 1,000? No, I can't. Can I break through 1,000? No, I can't. And it's doing this. And it's been doing that for 6 months. And every time it dips to like $950 US, which sounds a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot of money. It's a high entry point price when you can buy modern booster boxes for, perfect order for $170 US. It makes for a very high entry point price. But if you want a piece of arguably the second best set that Sword and Shield created from a main series with a booster box, and one of the nicest looking booster boxes we have seen in quite some time, that adds to the value of this booster box. It's pink and it's got Mew on the front. It is going to be a great collectible long term with the potential to pull 5 or 6 very, very nice chase cards inside there. The 5th one on my list is Perfect Order. Now this is an interesting one. It's by far the cheapest. And to touch on Perfect Order really, really quickly, it was $225 all of like a couple of weeks ago. And now it's dropped down to the closest we've seen to recommended retail price on a booster box in a long, long time. It's $172 US. That is the current market price of this booster box. And they're going on sale. There's places, minimum 3 booster boxes, but you can buy them for a cheap price. You can pretty much buy them at recommended retail price. And it's like, wow, we haven't seen this in so long. And the reason is, once again, it's not a strong set. It's just not. And people are going, oh, the printers can't keep up. The printers haven't been able to keep up because the sets they've been printing have been really, really good. And the demand has been super, super strong. The moment we get some lackluster sets, what do you know? It's all sitting on shelves. And I shouldn't say it goes on sale again. It's not quite to that level, but it's almost at that level. And, it brings about the big question. Are you better off spending $172 on a Perfect Order booster box? Or are you better off spending $976 on a Fusion Strike booster box? Which one is more likely to double? Is Perfect Order more likely to go from $170 to $340? Or is Fusion Strike more likely to go from $970 to $1940? Which is more likely? I'm not going to sit here and say one's more likely than the other. We don't know what's going to happen with Perfect Order. It could cop another reprint and it could squash box prices for a long period of time. It could be like Darkness Ablaze all over again, where it just got reprinted and the supply sat there for 5 years before it made a move. Whereas Fusion Strike has cemented itself. I guess if someone were to really ask me that question, my answer would probably be the safer investment is Fusion Strike. But I still think Perfect Order dropping down to near retail prices, we haven't seen that in a long time. And with 30th anniversary just around the corner, a massive amount of money is just about to come back into the hobby again. So I think it's a good pick up at the price. Number 6 on my list is Temporal Forces booster box. It's dropped from $334 to $319. Temporal Forces is, it's every era has them. Every era has these mid-tier, almost I shouldn't say filler because it's a bit better than that, but they have these mid-tier booster boxes that just coast along, and then at the blink of an eye, all of a sudden they become very, very expensive. We saw it with XY era. We saw it with sets like Breakthrough and Breakpoint. They were just these sort of mid-tier coasting booster boxes that felt like they were somewhat of a filler. And then, they were sitting at $300 US and $400 US for a long, long, long time. And then all of a sudden, bang, they're over $2,000 US. We saw it with Sun and Moon. We had sets like Lost Thunder and Celestial Storm booster boxes where you had, the only chase cards being a Rainbow Rayquaza and a couple of trainers and a Rainbow Lugia and a couple of trainers. And it's like, there's not much to go for here. They just feel like sort of filler sets. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're over $1,000 US a booster box. And it's like, whoa, when did that happen? It happened so quickly. And the same, in my opinion, will eventually, you got to remember there's more supply of booster boxes now. So it's probably not going to happen at the exact same speed, but Temporal Forces will eventually sneak up on us and it'll be an expensive set. The 7th one on my list is Lost Origin. Lost Origin is on par. Arguments can be made either side, whether Lost Origin is the second best booster box from Sword and Shield or whether Fusion Strike is the second best booster box from Sword and Shield. Lost Origin has a beautiful trainer gallery, which Fusion Strike doesn't have, so it makes the opening experience better because you're guaranteed at least something. You're guaranteed to probably get 2 or 3 trainer galleries from opening a Lost Origin booster box. Plus, you got the hunt, of course, of the amazing Giratina alternate art. Whereas Fusion Strike, you could open 36 packs and get a couple of VMAX regulars and that's it. And a few Vs and you're like, geez, that was a woeful experience. Or you could pull an alternate art card and do a backflip. It's hard. Either way, I think they're good. Both of them are good. In fact, they're better than good. They're above good. They're great sets. Lost Origin will be a good pickup. It's dropped to below $750 US. It'll be great long term. The 8th one on my list is an Evolving Skies booster box. Very, very expensive, I know. It was $2,698 and it's dropped down to $2,362. One of the reasons I think this has dropped is probably a little bit supply based. I think there's some people leaving the hobby or wanting to cash out of the hobby and they've made phenomenal gains off Evolving Skies. And as a result, they're saying, yep, I'm happy with the gains I've made. I'm going to put it on the market. And there's also some people that are scared off. They're probably thinking, I don't think Evolving Skies is going to go any higher. That's probably their thoughts. And they're like, let's cash out now. But in my opinion, it will go higher. It is one of the greatest modern sets we've ever seen. It arguably is better than Team Up. It is arguably on par, if not better than Cosmic Eclipse. That rhetoric just made me sound like Cosmic Eclipse is a better set than Team Up. Cosmic Eclipse has better depth than Team Up. Team Up just has a better main chase card. But Evolving Skies has it all. It has one of the modern grails in Moonbryon. It has Rayquaza, it has Dragonite, it has all the evolutions. I get it, pull rates are tough, but it's a piece of history, and people want a piece of history. It's the best booster box from the Sword and Shield era. It has the best alternate arts. It'll go down in history. And if you can pick it up towards, somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 US because it's dipped, I think it's a great pickup. And speaking of other expensive booster boxes, this is number 9 on my list. Unbroken Bonds. Unbroken Bonds has dropped significantly. Now look, there's not much sales data on Unbroken Bonds because it's getting rarer and rarer and rarer. So over the last few weeks, there's been a couple of sales. It's dropped from 2,755 to 2,125. The last 2 sales have been 2,300 and 2,095 respectively. Those 2 sales on eBay have dropped the price. I looked at the auctions, I looked at the buy it nows, and there was no issues with the boxes because sometimes the torn boxes can affect the data. These were both mint condition boxes with no issues. So it looks like it has dropped to the early 2000s. Unbroken Bonds is a great set. It's part of the tag team legacy. You've got 4 booster boxes, which will go down in history as 4 very strong collector pieces right there. So at the moment, Unbroken Bonds is cheaper than Evolving Skies. I think, and it's nearly an era older. Well, it is technically an era older or near on to it. So I think it's a great pickup, even though they're 2 of the expensive ones on my list. Speaking of non-expensive ones, to round out the video, number 10 on my list is Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks booster box, again, has sort of been doing this. It's for the last 3 months, it's hovered around the 295, 305, back to 295, back to 305, and it's actually just dipped below $300 US again. I think it's a great buy sub $300. How many booster boxes can you currently buy on the market sub $300? Not many, if any. How many dudes you know roll a lot? So, sub 300, Surging Sparks. Rainbow Bordered Pikachu SIR. Latios, Milotic, some other nice rainbow gold Pikachus. Not heaps to be disappointed about at all with Surging Sparks. It's a solid B+ set from a booster box, and arguably second or third best booster box from Scarlet and Violet era. Seems to be a lot of supply in the market still for Surging Sparks, but it'll get eaten up. People love to chase the cards inside it. The gem rates are so-so, and they're worth a bit of money in PSA 10s. I think it's a great pickup sub $300. Well, there you go. There's 10 booster boxes that I think you should buy during the dip that have all lost a little bit of value over the last couple of weeks or month during this slightly quieter period. I'm PokeOz. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your support means a lot, and I'll catch everyone next time.